Hello friends. So let us do the first question of problem set 5.2 from the book Elementary Number Theory by David M.Burton. So the question is, use Fermat's theorem to verify that 17 divides 11 raised to the power 104 plus 1. So before doing this question, we are required to know the statement of Fermat's theorem, or some say Fermat's little theorem. So it states that let p be a prime and a be any integer such that p should not divide a, right? Then we say that a raised to power p minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo p. Okay, so now let's get started with the question. So before starting with the solution, we should focus on what we are required to prove. So we are required to prove that 17 divides 11 raised to the power 104 plus 1, right? Which in other terms means we are to prove 11 raised to the power 104 plus 1 is congruent to, you can say, 0 under mod 17. Rather, let me write it properly. So which in other terms means 11 raised to the power 104 plus 1 is congruent to 0 mod 17, right? Or in more simplified terms, it means we are to prove 11 raised to power 104 is congruent to minus 1 mod 17, right? This is what we require to prove, right? So let's see how can we prove it. Now focusing on this expression, this one, we see when we compare it with the statement of Fermat's theorem that we saw in the starting of this video, we can say that here, so in this the statement that we saw in starting of the video, we know that we had a raised to the power p minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod p when p is a prime that does not divide a, right? This was the statement, so I just recalled it. Now here the scenario is, here the p we have to take is this quantity which is inside the mod, right? So here p equals 17 comma a equals 11, and this is clear cut that p does not divide a. So by Fermat's theorem, so let's now use the Fermat's theorem. So by Fermat's theorem, what can we say? We can say that 11 raised to power 17 minus 1 is congruent to 1 mod 17. Is it? Yeah. Or 11 raised to the power 16 is congruent to 1 mod 17, right? Now if this holds, let's raise both sides of this congruence by a power 6. So that will become 11 raised to 16 times 6 congruent to 1 raised to 6 is 1 itself, mod 17. Now let's proceed, and we get, after this I'm writing on the top, okay? So I get 11 raised to 96. So after that I get 11 raised to 96 is congruent to 1 under mod 17. Now let's increase this power by smaller bits. How? Now let's keep this expression as it is. Now we can say, like, it's clear, like we can notice this, because the power of 11 now we are going to take which is smaller. So we can say, now notice that 11 raised to power, I'm going to take 2, which is what? Which is equal to 121, is going to be congruent to 2 under mod 17. How? You can check it by division, right? It's a very simple task. It's not a big deal, right? So what have we concluded? That 11 square is congruent to 2 under mod 17, right? Next, let's raise both sides by power 4. So it becomes 11 raised to 8. I'm writing it directly. like it was 11 raised to 2 raised to 4. So 4 times 2 will give us 11 raised to 8 directly, right? Is going to be congruent to 2 raised to 4, which is 16 under mod 17, right? Now clearly you can notice that the 16 is going to be further congruent to minus 1 mod 17. So what have we concluded? We have concluded that 11 raised to 8 is going to be congruent to minus 1 under mod 17, right? Now I'm going to club this expression, right, and this expression. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both the congruencies. So we have learned the properties of congruencies, that any two congruencies of these forms, like not of these forms, like any two congruencies with the same modulo can be multiplied. So I'm going to multiply these. What am I going to get is so multiplying these congruencies, I'm going to get 11 raised to 96 plus 8, it will give me, right, 104. Is it? Yeah, it is. So it will be 11 raised to 104, and on the right side 1 multiplied by minus 1 will give me minus 1, right, under mod 17. And this is what we were to prove. Why? Because this means nothing but, let me erase the extra superfluous things. So this means what? This means 11 raised to 104 plus 1 is congruent to 0 mod 17, or 17 divides 11 raised to 104 plus 1, and we are done.